Welcome to Session 1A. In this session, I'd like to spend a little time doing some introductions. At the end of this session, I'll try to introduce myself a bit so you can get a better idea of who this disembodied voice belongs to. But in the meantime, though, I want to go over all the fun stuff you'll want to know about format and structure and deadlines and grades for the course. To get things rolling here, I'd like to say a few things about web-based learning. Biblical Perspectives 1 and 2 are both 3-hour courses, and to make sure that we meet our SACS accreditation requirements, and also just to make sure that you're getting the same quality education here that you would be in any of Samford's other programs, that means that each of these courses will have to include 37.5 hours of instruction time. So in our 7-week A and B evening college terms, that means we'll have to work at a quick, but I think manageable pace. The way that we'll meet our instruction requirements for the course will be to walk through 17 sessions along with several guided exercises. So, as I mentioned, the course as a whole will have 17 sessions, and each one of these sessions will have two parts. There'll be an A part and then a B part to the session. If you take a look at your syllabus, which you'll find posted on Moodle, you'll see toward the end our course calendar. Here I've included a screenshot of one section of the calendar so that you'll know how to read it. You can see here that we have Session 3, the Bible is, and then Session 4. And under Session 3, we have two parts, 3A, the product of a community of faith, and then 3B, not univocal. So what you would do for this session is to listen to Lecture 3A and take a lecture quiz. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. Then you'd listen to Lecture 3B and take the next lecture quiz. At the end of this, to wrap up the session, you'll have a homework assignment. In this case, you can see that it's a quiz that's based off of a reading that you'll do called Sacred Word, Broken Word. And then you'll follow the same procedure in the next session. You'll listen to a lecture and then take a quiz. You'll listen to a lecture and take a quiz. And then in this case, your homework will actually be a brief reflection assignment that's called Thinking About the Humanity of Scripture. If you take a glance at Moodle, you'll see that there's a similar entry for the same material. And so first, you'll see that this is the second part of Session 3. This is Session 3B. And you'll notice that there's some instructions underneath. Then you'll see where you have a lecture guide to prep you for your quiz, the actual PowerPoint lecture, and then the item with the icon that has the check mark in it, that's the actual Moodle quiz itself. And then you have a reading guide to help you prepare for your reading quiz, a copy of the article that you'll need, in this case by an author named Sparks, and then finally the Moodle quiz that you'll take. And so this will be your basic routine throughout the course. You'll listen to a lecture and take a quiz, you'll listen to another lecture and take a quiz, and then you'll complete some sort of assignment. And so let me give you just a little bit more information about each one of these items. First, when it comes to your lectures, these will all be PowerPoint presentations just like this one, where I'll be speaking and walking you through the material. All you have to do is hit play, and the presentation will take care of itself. Each lecture is approximately 30 minutes in length, so if you need to plan out your time to see if you can squeeze in one more lecture, you'll know roughly at least how much time it will take for you to do that. Along with each lecture, Moodle will also list a lecture guide. These will be questions that are based off the information you'll see and hear in the PowerPoint lectures. The purpose of these guides is to help you as you're listening to the lecture and to prepare you for the lecture quizzes that you'll take after the lecture. You are not going to turn these in any way, so you can answer the questions or not answer the questions, that's up to you. They will certainly help your grades on the quizzes if you do answer them, but they're solely there for your benefit. So, a word about the lecture quizzes. As you can imagine, without the accountability of having to actually come to class like you would in an on-campus course, there can be a real temptation to skip things in a web-based course. Now, that would rob you of a tremendous learning experience, and it would also wreak havoc on your grade further down the line. So, to make sure you're being faithful to muscle through things here, you're going to take a brief quiz after each one of your lectures. These quizzes will be based just on what you see and hear in the PowerPoint presentations. They're going to emphasize the content there that is outlined for you in your lecture guides. And you'll take these through Moodle, so once you're ready to take the quiz, you just click on that quiz in Moodle and it will lead you right through it. Along with the lectures, there will also be a number of assigned readings. Now these will come from your course textbooks, articles that I might place on Moodle, or they might even come straight from the biblical text. For each of these assignments, I provided you with a reading guide, and these will be questions that are based on the readings. They are intended to guide you through the reading and to help you prep for the reading quiz. And like the lecture guides, they are solely for your benefit. You are not going to be turning these in any way. So when you've finished your reading, you'll take a reading quiz. And these will be based directly off of the reading. They'll emphasize the content that's laid out for you there on the reading guides. Like the lecture quizzes, you'll take these on Moodle. And several times throughout the course, instead of doing a reading assignment, you'll submit a discussion post on a topic or maybe submit a reflection assignment. These will all be outlined in Moodle for you so you'll know exactly what to do. I cannot emphasize strongly enough that the key to your doing well on the lecture and the reading quizzes is taking time to work through your guides. You are welcome to consult your assigned reading while you take the quizzes, but frankly, you're just not going to have enough time on the quizzes to start hunting around in the book or the article or the Bible for answers if you haven't read it and done the guide already. So you're going to want to have your completed guide to help you out. And most of all, you're going to want the knowledge that you've acquired by doing the guide. So you don't have to submit those guides, but if you don't do the work that it takes to prepare them, it will certainly reflect itself in your grades. In terms of calculating your grade, your lecture quizzes and your reading quizzes are both worth 20% of your grade, and your midterm and your final exams are both worth 30% of your grade. So you can see that your midterm and final are the lion's share of your score, but the lecture and reading quizzes are worth a great many points, and so you'll want to use these quizzes to lay a strong foundation for your score. What you don't want to do is let them become an anchor that drags your score down. Okay, so a word about deadlines. Your sessions are grouped together into weekly batches, and you'll see on the course calendar which groups are due when. One consistent element is that these batches are all due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. That's Central Standard Time. This means that all of your lecture quizzes and reading quizzes and discussion posts and assignments have to be submitted by 11:59 p.m. Moodle is a cold, heartless, Skynet-like computer that will not give any grace at all when it comes to timing. So you need to plan well ahead and make sure you're submitting your materials well before the deadline. It takes time to do these assignments, and 11 o'clock on a Sunday night is not the time to start doing them or even to be finishing doing them. Your midterm and your final have their own due dates, so you need to pay close attention to those as well. But key to all of this is that you need to work ahead. You need to plan on that disaster that is just bound to happen if you push this off toward the last minute. And to be fair to all the other students, I really will not be in a position to give anyone extended time on these. I do want to say a word about time zones. As I mentioned previously, Moodle is set up to lock out your exam and quiz submissions at 11:59 p.m. on each due date. The key here is to make sure that you're aware of what the time is in Birmingham, in other words, in Central Standard Time, because that is what Moodle is going to regard as 11:59 p.m. I realize that some of you are taking this course outside of the Central Standard Time Zone. You may be over in Atlanta, you may be out west, you may be on the other side of the world for that matter. So you just need to make sure that you're getting your assignments in before midnight, in other words 11:59 p.m. Birmingham time. Well, I think that pretty much covers everything you need to know for the course. You'll want to be sure to consult your syllabus very carefully to fill in any details that I might have left out here in this quick overview. But I do want to say a word or two about myself. Like most things, web-based learning has both advantages and disadvantages. One of the great things about studying online is the flexibility that it gives you as a student to learn when you want to and where you want to. To be able to squeeze in an extra course during Jan term or during the summer without having to actually be on campus can be a real blessing. And this is especially true since you can do so while you're holding down a job or traveling or whatever. If there's a disadvantage, though, to web-based learning, it's the fact that you miss out on much of the interaction with students and, of course, your beloved professor that is key to having a great college experience. I've tried to build in some elements to the course that will help to overcome this a bit, but I also want to give you just a little bit of information about who I am and where I'm coming from on these issues so that you'll know me better and understand who this voice is on the other side of the computer. So I've included a picture here for you. You can use this to scare away any mice or vermin that might have gotten into your house, or you might want to hang on to it to throw darts at it as you start getting overwhelmed with work a little later in the semester here. In terms of my academic training, I got my Master's of Divinity in Academic Theology from Alliance Theological Seminary in Nyack, New York. And I went on from there to do my doctoral work in Bible and the Ancient Near East at a Jewish university in Boston called Brandeis University. I actually started my time at Samford as an adjunct in the religion department way back in the year 2008, and then I transitioned over to full-time in 2012. I am actually a native of Birmingham. I grew up in a little suburb of Birmingham called Pleasant Grove. Some of you may remember the name Pleasant Grove from the terrible tornadoes that swept through Alabama back in 2011. The home that my parents built and that I grew up in was actually destroyed by one of those tornadoes. Here you can see a picture of my lovely wife Michaela and my two sons, Samuel, my older son, there on the right, and Elijah, my younger son, there in the middle. And we're standing in front of Windsor Castle, actually, in this picture. One thing I could tell you about myself is that I love to travel. Now, you can see here some pictures of places I've taken my family over the years. You can see Jerusalem there on the top left and in the middle. That's me with my younger son Elijah in the Great Hall at Hogwarts in London there on the top right. On the bottom, that's me with my wife out at Yosemite. The picture in the middle is from one of the colleges at Oxford. And then you can see the whole fam there at a Giants game out in San Francisco. One kind of traveling that I especially love is backpacking. I've been privileged to do a couple of 50-milers through Yosemite with my sons and my brother, and you can see some of our pictures here. I just think Yosemite is the most wonderful place on earth, and I wouldn't trade these experiences for anything. I just love to go backpacking. Most of all, though, what you really need to know about me is that I love the Bible. I have spent my entire adult life studying and teaching the Bible, and there's really nothing that I enjoy doing more. I love the languages, the culture, the land, the people. The Bible's not always an easy book. If it were, it wouldn't be the source of so much debate and controversy. But through all of its twists and turns, I believe the Bible gives us an incredible, a matchless window onto the journey of one group of people to know God and to be known by God. As we walk through this course, I am bound to say something that you will disagree with or something that you just don't like one little bit. I hope that you'll understand that whatever I say is born out of a love for this book and a desire to understand it better. If you find yourself drowning a bit, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I am happy to see if there is some way I can show you a path out of the deep woods or give you a hand to rescue you from some deep waters there. But most of all, what I hope is that you'll enjoy studying the Bible as much in this course as I enjoy teaching it.